And
What do you
personally,
think
I
is
think
the
that we're
fundamental
pretty close to
story at
bottoming
this
this
point?
week.
Fundamental
Pretty close to
story at
bottoming
this
this
point.
week.
What makes you stay bullish?
Well, there's the story of building on Ethereum, and we know that there is a lot taking place. There are stablecoin creations. Larry Fink and BlackRock and Wall Street want to tokenize assets, bring stocks, bonds, real estate onto the blockchain, and they have to find a neutral 100% uptime blockchain. That's Ethereum. And that's the fundamental story. The price, of course, for Ethereum will fluctuate because crypto is hyper volatile. In fact, it's kind of it's sort of a feature of the blockchain itself. And I think we've been in a downtrend, unfortunately. A lot of folks are kind of questioning if we're in a 4-year cycle for Bitcoin. So, the most correlated factor to Bitcoin prices when you see it at Bitcoin at a peak actually is the ISM. So I think we're still in a correction phase of crypto. Crypto suffered from that liquidation event on October 10th, but because the fundamental story is intact and we crypto discounts the future, that's why it's volatile, but it still looks pretty attractive here. And personally, I think that we're pretty close to bottoming this week.
I think we are going to see a substantial acceleration in the economy in the second quarter. And I think we're already seeing on many prices, as I said, we're bending that curve down, and the increase in real incomes. I think Americans are going to feel it in the first quarter, second quarter. I think
my Bitcoin price prediction. So my first one was $10,000 by 20. It was in 2014. I made the prediction. I said 3 years, 2017, $10,000. Everybody said, "What are you talking about? It's $180. You're off by like 2 decimals." I said, "It's going to hit it." And it did. And then it dropped down to 4,000. And at 4,000, I said, "Okay, it's going to hit 250,000 in 4 years." And that was in 2018. And it didn't. And part of that was all the fear, uncertainty, and doubt spread by the SEC. And that slowed down growth. It slowed down innovation. It slowed down progress. It slowed down technology. I mean, just generally technology. And so it didn't hit that number yet. Well, eventually the government is going to have to come to see the light. And the moment they see the light, it's going to blow through $250,000 so fast. And it might be Bitcoin on the way up, and it might be the dollar on the way down, but it's going to blow through 250,000.
Well, I wouldn't change anything in the past, but if I was sent back in time without a penny in my pocket, I'd still be an entrepreneur because I prefer to control my destiny. I'd take a look at today's landscape, and what I would be doing is buying land where I can build power. I kind of reverse engineer what's happening in the economy. The largest CapEx spend in history is occurring now around data centers, but it's not really about the data centers or about AI. It's about power. The country that has the most secure power at the lowest cost is going to win in AI. AI requires a tremendous amount of power, whether it's for defense or whether it's for any of the sectors of the economy. Every single sector is using AI as a tool now to reduce costs and enhance margins, but they can't do it without power. I would want to skate to where the puck is going, and that is land that's permitted for power generation. That's one of my big investment theses right now. It's one of the areas that I'm spending most of my time on because I think that will provide extraordinary returns for the next 20 years.
This terrible price action in crypto has given us pause and forced us to ask a tough question. Should we continue to cover Bitcoin? And the answer is sadly no. So today we are having a funeral for Bitcoin. It was fun while it lasted. So many memories, so many friends. There was Tom Lee and his calls for 20,000 by year end. There was Novogratz and his calls for 40,000. And there was Ripple. I think we'll miss you most of all, Brad Garlinghouse. And then there were the characters. Bitcoin Jesus, the Oracle of Bitcoin, all 500 of the Ethereum co-founders. And who could forget the Coinbase screen grab and mindless trolling on Twitter? And of course, our Bitcoin bug,